what's going on? It's another episode of the Teel podcast. And like always, I have another great guest. I got the notorious Cookie Lady. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm excited to have you on here. Anybody in Texarkana, I don't think there's anybody in Texarkana that doesn't know about the Cookie Lady. I feel like your reach is that far now. Everybody knows about the Cookie Lady. So I got to know some things.
All right, I'm ready.
How did you get started doing this, first of all?
Well, actually, started baking for my children. I don't do just cookies. I'm more than just a cookie lady. That's on another note. But I actually started baking for my church, and then it went from church to my job at FedEx. I started baking for the package handlers and the drivers. I get up early in the morning and take them treats, and it went on from there.
So there was when did you decide? Was there like a moment where you're like, oh, I need to go like bake and make this a business?
Yes. Well, actually, I started out when I was a little girl, sneaking in the kitchen and mixing up stuff and throwing it away before mom got home from work during the summer and all of that. But when I started baking for my children, they had friends that would come by and they loved what I was doing. So I was like, okay, this is pretty good. I started out with my first. Well, let me go back a little bit. My paternal grandmother, who I named my business after, the late Emma Washington from Nash, Texas. She was a great cook. She would bake tea cakes. She was known for her baking her tea cakes. So actually, I kind of started with the tea cake and a special cookie. I made them different than what she used to make. She, baked a lot of stuff. I never knew any of her recipes, but she was a nurturer. And she inspired me to cook, She just poured so much into me. And so I started cooking, like I said, as a small child. And then it grew from there and started baking for my kids when I had them. And then I went to my church and then FedEx, and I would do a lot of trial and error baking, even after I learned how to really do it or whatnot, because I wanted to perfect my craft.
Right. And
so the first cookie outside of the tea cake, I called it one of my church family church members. His name is Romy Paxton. He gave it the name, the Double Double. It's a kind of a unique cookie. It's got 4 different chocolates, walnuts and pecans, and it was really a filling cookie, but it was special. Everything that I do, I try to make it unique where people know exactly where it's coming from. But that's what got me started. So I started baking tea cakes and baking the Double Double cookies, taking them to church and taking them to FedEx, and it went from there. I started dreaming about cookies. So
having dreams.
Yes. Huh? And so I started creating. I'm like, okay, I can do 3 different flavors, 4 or 5. And it went from, it spiraled from there. And so now actually, I've made, I'm sure, well over 400 flavors.
Wow.
At my store, I've got a cookie wall of fame that's got at least 200 different flavors up there. And when I put them up there, I was missing hundreds of pictures then. And I've been at the new location. I'm no longer on State Line. I've been at this new location, which is at 3207 Kennedy Lane. I'm in Kennedy Plaza, right across from Central Mall, 3 doors down from Firehouse Subs. Been there 2.5 years, and I really like the location. It's not dangerous.
Right.
We don't have to worry about traffic jams and, policemen coming knocking on the door saying, asking me, do I have a permit? I'm holding up traffic and all of that. That's another story. But
the State Line location, that was a thing. That's where I think that's like the first time I ever heard of the first mention of the Cookie Lady.
Right.
Somebody was like, I saw a picture on Facebook, and it was just a line. And you said, what was the longest the line went? You said
the longest line that I saw, someone took a picture and sent it to me. It was actually past the soda plant, like about maybe a couple of blocks, which in that area, you can't consider it blocks because it's a soda plant. And then, it was a little bit away from Legends Gym, actually.
Wow. Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. They sent it to me and said, do you know where your line is? And had people tell me they waited 5 and 6 hours in the line. I hated that, but, I just put a lot of love into my baking and had people ask me if I put something in the cookies.
What is in these cookies?
I just love and prayers. I'm like, I don't drink, I don't smoke. I'm not going to put anything in those cookies, but I give God the glory for everything that I've done. And I'm really thankful for Texarkana and the surrounding areas. I got a lot of customers, not just Texarkana local, but I've got people all over. I've even got customers in California and people have heard, up north and different places. And I'm really thankful for that because I wouldn't be who I am without my customers, let me know. I customize cookies for them. Like, for instance, you may come in and say, hey, I want an oatmeal cookie with some honey roasted pistachios and craisins, and I want this chocolate and these chips and this and that. And I do that. And sometimes I name it after the customer.
Oh, wow.
So I cater to my customers. Yes.
It's definitely a customer service deal thing, and how good they are.
Thank you. I've got some in the car for you too. I forgot to bring them in, but I'll get them.
I need that. Maybe at the end we'll go grab and I'll eat them on camera.
All right.
Because what flavors did you bring?
Well, I had kind of forgotten to the last minute, so I got you butter pecan. I've got a couple of razzle dazzle, and what else? I forgot.
It's all good. Yeah. So I wonder what was the kitchen like when you've got that long line? Like, is it just hectic? Is it a crew with you? Is it just you or?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I've never let anyone else bake except for me and my daughter. We're two woman thing. It's a mother-daughter team. She actually started helping me. We got started during COVID. So we most people had to shut their business down, but I thank God that He allowed me to thrive during this time. I had a drive-through.
So the drive-through was the key there.
Yes, absolutely. Wow. And so we bake everything. A lot of people, I tell people we do everything by hand. I have a blender that I use to mix up batters or whatnot, but we don't use mixers. I've got a big industrial mixer. I've got a KitchenAid. I got another one, but we don't know how to use them. I've attempted once or twice, and flour went everywhere, all over the walls. But we do everything by hand. We glove up and we get down into it. And I mean, it's tedious, but that's the way we've always baked. And my daughter, she does the traditional dough, like the chocolate chip and, at like M&M and stuff like that. And I do the more of the gourmet, like the strawberries and cream and banana buns, the specialty cookies. She says an oatmeal. She doesn't like to mess with that. So we just kind of share the duties. And if there's something special like cinnamon rolls, I also add that. But I want everybody to know that I don't just deal in sweets. I do food as well. And I'm trying to get things together so I can put that under my belt. Some people know about my chicken and sausage stuffed mushroom. I did it for Cross Ties when they first opened up for their grand opening or whatnot. But I'm known around town for that. And like I said, I'm thankful that people actually trust me enough to please their palates and to let me know that they're thankful for what I do and who I am.
Yeah. It seems like I know you've had a big impact here. I don't know. It's a different feeling than just like going to Albertsons or going somewhere and just grabbing something off the shelf. And it's like, I know her. She made this, and I know that she cares. Like, there's a difference. Yes. It's like going to a local restaurant instead of a chain.
Right.
There is a difference. If when people care, it shows.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the kitchen's got to be hectic when there's the line, but now you don't have the drive-through, so now people are coming in to see you now?
Yes. Yeah. And they now here lately, I get, people, they come in, they actually have somewhere to sit. I've got quite a few tables up front. But a lot of people come in just to get a word from me too.
Yeah.
And that makes me happy because when you're praying for yourself, you're praying for others. But I let them know, hey, this is a place where you can get a peace of mind. If you just want to get away, come and sit down. I may have bottled water or something in there. You don't have to just purchase to come in there and get a word or get a peace of mind. So they've got somewhere to come in. Just don't have a drive-through, but they've got somewhere they can come inside. I offer curbside as well, or delivery after we close, like after 6 o'clock. So that number is 877-852-5239 or 877-TKC-LADY.
There you go.
So that's another good thing for them. So. Yeah.
Does anybody order off Facebook or anything, or you try to avoid that?
Yes, that's another story. I have people that do place orders on Facebook. I used to have a website, but I had to shut it down because people all over the world were trying to order, and there's only so much that
you can do.
Right. Can do.
Right. Yeah.
Eventually, I want to have a franchise. I want to be in the Four Corners. I want to be known worldwide.
Yeah.
Be able to offer that. But as of right now, it's just me and my daughter doing all the baking. So it's kind of limited a little bit.
When was the you say you worked at FedEx, right?
Almost 15 years.
Yeah. When was the moment where so 15, that's a long time too.
Yeah.
So when did you say, all right, I need to go get a building or something? Or did you sell some stuff from home first? Mm-hmm. That was the transition?
Mm-hmm. I did I baked under the cottage law in Arkansas.
What is that, if you don't mind explaining it?
It's where you can bake a certain amount up to, can't just bake a whole lots of stuff. There's guidelines that you have to go by. You can't have certain fruits. There's certain things that you can do and certain things that you can't. We don't always do that or whatnot.
In the house?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Cool.
And I was working at FedEx, and my daily, I would have to be at work at 6 o'clock in the morning. I get off around about 2:30 or 3. I have to go get my youngest from school or whatnot. But as soon as I got off, made sure my children were fed, I go right into baking. And then I'd be delivering sometimes up until 11 or 12 o'clock at night. Go to bed, get back up at 5 so I could be at work. And it was taking a toll on me.
Right.
So I had to make a decision. And had one of the drivers, he's like, Charkeitha, this was about a year and a half before I actually left. He said, this food is good. He said, you're going to bake your way up out of FedEx. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. Job security, I got guaranteed benefits, this, that, the other. But that's exactly what happened. I went to Atlanta, Georgia, got my life coach certification.
Cool.
I was also class president. And I prayed about it. I'm like, okay, God, you're putting all of this under my belt. I know how to cook, bake. I've got this 9 to 5. I know how to help people. I'm a people person. I love people. What do you want me to do? And so, like I said, I prayed about it, and I actually stepped out on faith. I trusted God, and doing it was kind of iffy.
Yeah, was it scary?
Yes, because I took an early retirement, so I didn't work anywhere for an entire year. Still had to take care of my responsibilities and stuff. And I had a grandbaby the first year that I, right after I left FedEx or whatnot. And when he was born, I looked at him and I named him Button. So a few months after that, I came up with the banana button cookie, And so that's where I got that name from. He was cute as a button, so I named a cookie after him or whatnot. But like I said, I stepped out on faith. And I haven't regretted it. I have some, I don't want to say bad days. Some days are busier than others, but just I have to remind myself that God is my source and go from there. But it's allowed me to see more. I see a lot of people,
right,
and everyone isn't the same. So I not only do I like to talk to people and find out what they really want, and to some people, my products are like medicine. I've had a lot of people over the span of 4.5 years. Hate to say it, but I've had a lot of people that have relatives that, had cancer. I had at least about 4 or 5 of them. And, they were in their last stages or whatnot. And some of them weren't eating. And they asked if they could have cookies. And I'm like, okay. They said they make them feel better. And so, we pray before we bake or whatnot. But like I said, this isn't just about sweets or whatnot. It's just about fulfilling the soul and getting to know people and what they need and all of that. It's more to it, and it's people are beginning to see that. So.
Do you think that is that's what makes it so successful?
I know that's what makes it successful because I give God all the glory. If God is not incorporated with it, it may look good for a while, but it's not going to last.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool. So you probably had a lot of structure at FedEx. Like this is a job. Was there like now you're working for yourself? It's like a whole new learning experience on trying to figure out, but you have to have like that same type of discipline, but now you don't have a boss telling you like, hey, go make those cookies.
That's right.
You have to be like, oh, I need to make these cookies. So where was there any struggles in as far as?
I still have daily struggles.
Right.
And one thing I want to say about that, my boss at the time, she's no longer a manager there. She's doing something else, but she's still at the building. She always poured into me. And when I left FedEx, I ended up being one of their vendors where they order, cookies for different events and stuff like this. So that was a blessing. But when you do this, you really have to discipline yourself because the ball is in your court. So you can go whichever direction you want to go. And I had to be a morning person there, to make ends meet, but I'm not really a morning person.
Right.
So there are times that, I've gotten better. There are times I don't want to get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. But
is that about when you're starting normally at the cookie place?
It depends. On a normal day, we may get up there about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. But if we've got some special pre-orders, we have to get up there. We've gotten up there and got started in the wee hours, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And stuff, because if we have to have something ready by 10 or 11, there's a process, and especially we're doing everything by hand. It's not like get a cookie scoop, cut the roll, get the cake mix it up and throw. We start from the ground.
Right.
And so it takes time for that.
This ain't like going to buy a packet that peanut butter cookie.
Add water and serve. No, everything is
it's the only cookies I've ever made in my life. Came out a packet.
So it takes time, and some people, they don't understand it. They feel like it's just, they just getting something. No, it's a little bit more to it. We get started, we got to pray, and we've got to, get the flour out, the leavening, agents, and the flavors, and this and that and the other. And sometimes, if we don't have the products that we need the previous day, we've got to do store runs, and it's a lot to it.
Right. But when I talked to Big Slice, shout out to Big Slice, I talked to like Tyler Trout and them. Mm-hmm. They were talking about, like talking to Tyler specifically, and he's talking about pizza.
Yeah.
And it's like, as a normal person, it's like, okay, I like pizza.
Yeah.
But and may even be like a pizza enthusiast as far as I know what I like in pizza.
Right.
But to see him describe like his process of making pizza and all the different and one thing, and that's the same type of vibe I'm getting from you is like, do you ever feel like a mad scientist, like you're just creating, you're just and
yes,
yeah,
and thank you for asking me that. There are times that I've just got in there and freestyled it,
right?
I'm like, okay, I got those walnuts over there, and I've got those peanut butter chips, and I've got those cinnamon chips, and let me go in here in my storeroom and get this stuff and just concoct something together. I'll post it. I'm a visual person.
Right.
But not only does it need to taste good, but I think it needs to look good as well.
Sure.
And so I'm doing a little trial and error, and I came up with the chicken and waffle cookie. It's actually got chicken, chicken on top of it, and the waffle and the cookie is combined. I actually fixed it in a waffle iron, and I made the sauce to go on it. I made it with my special sauce mixed with syrup. So it's stuff like that, or
chicken and waffle cookies.
Absolutely, you would be amazed. I've got a chocolate covered bacon and waffle cookie. I've got a cookie stuffed pancake, cookie like a pancake with a cookie stuffed inside. I've got. You would be amazed.
This is super creative. Like this is, I don't know. People think we tag like creative on like what's normally called creative. Like, oh, look at that musician, he's so creative. Or look at that painter, he's so creative. But there's a lot of there's so much more that you can be creative with, and like it seems like baking is something that you could be extremely creative with, and that's maybe not something that we think about. Like the normal person that's just throwing stuff in the microwave, like me. Sorry, I just recently learned how to work the oven. And I'll be 30 this month.
Wow! And you know I've got 2 commercial ovens, and the biggest one that I have, which is a Blodgett. We had to figure out how to work that one because on State Line I had just the regular 6-burner commercial oven, but now I've got that one too. But I've got the big one that has like the 5 racks or 10 half sheets in it or whatnot. But we had to do some trial and error when we first got there. We had to make adjustments with, normal baking temperatures, like about 350, maybe a little bit higher for different types of cookies and stuff. But we had to throw away a lot of cookies because we couldn't figure out what we needed to set it on. And we tried to look it up and we couldn't find. I said, okay, we're gonna ease it up, just ease it up. Right. And I'm like, okay. So
which takes time. That's not like, I used to run a full blown recording studio, and it was like so much trial and error. Like okay, that didn't work. Now fix it. Right. That didn't work. Fix it. And then you get it to like a sweet spot. And you're like, I don't touch it.
Yeah.
That's kind of how that's like, huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Threw away a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So you said throw away cookies. It made me think of something else. What was like? So I know you experiment with cookies, but what was one time you tried something and it didn't come out good? What was the flavors involved?
Well. Okay. There was a cookie that my oldest child, Antonique, we call her Neek, she was like, Mama, why don't you try this and try that? And it was actually a cookie that the sauce on it was made with liquor. And see, I don't really know about liquor. I mean, I've had wine. I've had a wine cooler before or whatnot, but, I don't drink or anything like that. But I made the sauce too strong, because I was just pouring up and I'm like, I didn't know.
Was it like whiskey or clear or brown? What?
I think I used Jack Daniels with it because I use it for my bread pudding. I just add to it. But I use a Mexican liquor I had actually gotten from Mexico. And I ran out of it and I had to order it actually online because they don't sell it here. And I don't want to go to the liquor store and buy any liquor. And I try to get people to get it for me when I need it or whatnot. But yeah, that was a trial and error cookie. The cookie was really good, but I made the sauce and it was too potent. And
so it would get you drunk eating the cookie?
Probably would have. I mean, when I tasted it, I was like, no. And this was on State Line, so I just trashed the whole, I trashed the whole thing. But then I tried it again and I kind of eased it up and it was a decent cookie.
Yeah.
So, and then my strawberry cookie, I went, because even though, a lot of stuff I didn't create the chocolate chip cookie. I didn't create the one with the pecans and whatnot. But the strawberry cookie, I was trying to find a recipe. One of my Facebook friends, Miss, I'm not going to call her name. She wanted a strawberry cookie. And so what I would do is go do a Google search and try to look at the recipes, but I never follow a recipe to a T. I want to add my own touch to it.
Right.
All the strawberry cookies that I found, they were made with cake mix. And I couldn't do it because after tasting so many of them, it had left kind of a bitter taste and I wanted to get past that. So it took me about 3 months to perfect the strawberry cookie that I made from scratch, using fresh berries and, just everything from scratch, not mixed or whatnot. So that was a lot of money I wasted. I threw away a lot of cookies. But I've learned since then, even if they end up being dog biscuits, as long as they don't have chocolate in them or whatnot, I can utilize them. But I thank God I can count it on one hand how many times I've had mess ups, really, like where things burned up or whatnot at my new location and stuff.
Yeah.
And, you get better with time.
Right. So. Yeah. So one interesting thing you said a minute ago, that you said you went somewhere, I think you said Little Rock or something, to get your life coach.
Where? I went to Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
What did that entail?
Classes. I did my studying and all of that, and it was my goal to learn more about business and how to, my business plan and what all I needed to do and how I needed to do it. And even with, getting started, you need to have your ducks in a row. And I was, like I said, I didn't work anywhere for a year. So I did that training and stuff. And, I went up there and I graduated. And I was good at what I did. And, I have my class president plaque and all of that. But it taught me a lot about, taught me quite a bit about business, and not just business, but business on a spiritual level too.
Right.
And it taught me to how to cater to people and how to talk to them and find out what they really want. And so becoming a life coach and also a baker combined together, it's amazing what I got out of that. And it just, it's...
How'd that come on your radar? Like, how did you, I need to go to Atlanta to...
Well, no,
how did you figure out about that?
Well, is a guy that was offering, well, actually it was like a little school that was, talking about life coaching and all that stuff. And it kind of, I checked it out or whatnot, and he had something to tell me. And I was like, I'm on a 9-to-5. And he was telling me I would be off the job in 3 months. And I'm like, no, I'm a skeptic when it comes to certain things. You don't believe everything you hear and you see. But the way things started going or whatnot, it's a long story. It would take me a few hours to actually talk about that. But I got my training in. We'd have to be on calls and have to do lesson and this and that and the other. And so I ended up, my graduation ceremony was up in Atlanta, Georgia. And so me and part of my family, we went up there and everything, had our ceremonies and all of that. And I didn't know I was going to end up being the class president or whatnot. I'm thankful for that. But it was something that I needed. I didn't know that I was going to need it for what I do. Right. That's why I say I'm more than just a cookie lady. So that's a big plus for me now.
Yeah.
And I even I counsel people and help people now. And I do
that's what I was figuring, that the life coach angle, like I didn't know there was so much business involved in the. But I was thinking that probably helps you, like, dealing with people.
It does. Yeah. And I say, as of right now, I don't charge for my services. Like some people, I let them know that I'm available for them, no matter what time of day or night, as long as I'm not working, or they can come up there. But I want to make myself available for other people, because you never know what someone is dealing with.
Right.
And, some people look at my cookies as medicine, and some people, they don't even eat sweets, but they enjoy coming and talking to me. And I've helped a lot of people along the way.
Right.
And so I'm thankful for the opportunities that I've been given. I've learned a lot. I've had people to take from me.
Yeah.
I've had people to actually try to backdoor me, meaning try to steal skills and go behind me. I've had people to try to set traps. I've had a lot going on. But I'm thankful that I was able to get past that by trusting in God and knowing that He always had my back. And also I let people know, hey, you're not perfect. We all fall short often, but we just got to keep, pick ourselves up and keep on pushing.
You ever had? It sounds like there's a lot of positive interactions there, but have you ever had a customer that was just like not going?
I did. I had as a matter of fact, there was a guy, and most of the time you can't get reviews reversed. But on Yelp, I had a guy that hopped on Yelp. And a lot of people think that my business is called the Texarkana Cookie Lady. It's not. That's who I'm referred to as. But my brand is Emma's Grand Divine Creations. But I'm the Cookie Lady. But there was a guy that came in there to get some banana buttons. And I actually had kind of started using a different butter at the time. The one that I was used for those, they were out of it. So I don't put salt in my bacon stuff. I use the salted butter. And so he called back up there. He had bought a dozen, and he was like, well, they don't taste right and this and that and the other. And I'm like, I know I can't, I don't take food back and into the store or whatnot, but you bought a whole dozen, bring it and I'll toss it. Don't just leave and say, hey, I bought a dozen and didn't taste quite right. How do I know you're not going to eat that and you just want something for free? But anyway,
right.
I was trying to be polite with them and no one else had said anything about it. And I know my products are not going to be 100% every time. There could be factors of the weather. It could be a different product, it could be a lack of something, changing of, all of that. So I take in consideration all that and I'm always giving to people. So he hopped on Yelp. And he gave a bad review, said that I had a nasty attitude. The people that worked for me had nasty. First of all, it's me and my daughter. My daughter, she's in the kitchen, and said
so he never saw her?
No. Mm-mm. And so wow. he made these negative comments and this and that and the other on Yelp. Turned around and did another profile. Did the same comment with another profile. No. So it had me with a bunch of negative reviews. Well, not a bunch, but those two. So I contacted Yelp and I'm like, hey, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. You can go to Google and check things out, this, that, and the other. And they removed them.
Wow.
So I thank God for that. That's grace, because I had to explain to them and tell them, hey, go. Exactly. So I explained to them what happened and they looked, it was put in there at the same time. And so they removed them. And I thank God for that.
I've left lots of 5-star reviews. I'd never left like a bad review to somebody. I just felt like, especially like, I've had several businesses. I own my own business still to this day. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I know the importance of like what that, if you got 55-star reviews and somebody drops that one star on you, you're like, what? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
And so it's important because when people Google, okay, so if there's somebody else that does exactly what you do and you have 55-star reviews and they have 55-star reviews, if one person gets upset and goes and gives you a 1-star review, you're getting shown second now.
Absolutely. And that happened to me on State Line. And the thing about it, the negative reviews that I got, they were because they didn't get a chance to try them. And I said, well, why would you give me a negative review? Because the line was long and you couldn't make it up there. It's not my fault.
Right. That means the cookies are so good you don't get
right. So why would you do that? I'm like, if you're gonna give me a negative review, give it to me because my product isn't good or it's not good enough for you. Right. I don't expect to get all 5. You know what I'm saying? But don't give me a negative review because you said, well, when I got there, all of those were gone. Or when I got to the window, she was sold out. I mean, why would you do me like that? But if you'll go and check them, I think I got one that may have said something about a product or whatnot here within the last year or two. But outside of that, back when I first started, I didn't have anything negative outside of we couldn't get them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thing you think about. Like, you own your business, right? This is your bakery, whatever, however, isn't that what would you consider? What do you call it?
I call it a cookie shop.
The cookie shop. Mm-hmm. Right. So this is your deal.
Right.
And you have the right anyway to serve who you want to serve regardless. You could turn people away if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So if people, I don't know, they tend to feel entitled like they're supposed to be able to get your service when that may not be the case. So like even if they get to the window and you don't have, you may be sold out.
Right.
That's not worth a bad review. It frustrates me hearing that for you. You know what I mean?
And the thing, I would get that a lot. So what I did was something that wasn't normal. I put limitations on them back during State Line time, which I don't have that now. And some people still think that they have to order the cookies in order to get them. I have cookies that we bake every day and I have a menu. Walk in and get what you want. Because people still ask, do I have to order it? I'm like, no, come on in. And whatever you see on this menu, you can get them. You don't have to order them unless you want them reserved and held for you. But I put limits on them. Like, I think I had like a limit of, at one point in time, 4 banana buttons or 4 strawberry. And people are like, I can't get a little, I got 3 people in the car. I'm like, okay, well, it's a limit for each person. And I look back at it, I'm like, if you're coming with the money, it shouldn't be limits on what you can purchase with your money. But I did that because I had so many people that complained about not being able to try them. And so I put limits on them.
Which, I mean, that makes sense. At the end of the day, that is your decision. Mm-hmm. As the person that quit their job and went and made their own deal and risked it all, you get to decide who gets what at the end of the day. I had a ton of experiences like that where, I don't know, people just feel like they're entitled, like they have to be able to get what you offer.
Right.
And this isn't McDonald's.
Right.
Like, this is not Burger King. It's a whole different deal.
And it's complex sometimes. If it's easy because I'm considered a small business or whatnot. But some people get discouraged because business is slow. I've had some slow days, really slow days, wondering how am I going to do this? You can't make people buy stuff.
Right.
And the thing about it, I started, before I started doing the cookie thing, I didn't know anybody that was doing cookies like that. I mean, maybe I'm just, I don't know, just didn't know very many people. I don't know. But now there's a lot of people that are opening up cookie shops and baking, and their products are amazing.
Right.
And I don't like to look at it as competition. That's why I kind of like I like to set everyone in their own category. You're your own competition.
Right.
And I like to try to be unique because I don't want to be compared to anyone else. But I've had some good stuff from these local bakers. Julie's Deli. I've had my mom, she had gotten some cookies from Cake House. They were amazing. Julie's white chocolate cake. I've Graham Slam. They're amazing. I've had some of their, they do the decorative cookies. I don't really do those, much or whatnot. But we've got some amazing bakers here in Texarkana. So, just like there's a Burger King, there's a McDonald's. People go where they want to go.
Yeah.
So I just, I thank God for allowing there to be variety. I look at it like not competition, but variety. Like Cake House, for instance, they're doing the beignets or whatnot.
Yeah.
And people had asked me about that years and years ago. I didn't get on it, but they look good. I'm going to have to get some. But I just, I'm glad that we've got those establishments here. There's the one on State Line or whatnot. And I encourage people to, just because someone else is doing the same thing, don't drop off. Yeah. Just be unique and add your own touch or whatnot. We need variety.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Anytime something works, that's, so like they see the line on State Line.
Yeah.
Somebody out there is like, I need a cookie shop. That's like human nature. Right. And that's why markets get like how they get. But anytime you see something like, when I ran the studio, it was booming. Okay, well, now they're everywhere.
Right.
But it's you. Like you are at the end of the day, the small business, like a lot of times you're the product.
Right.
And it's just like, okay, nobody can give cookies like you give cookies. Nobody can give, and if you think of it like that, they're not competition because they're selling that's them.
That's right.
Yeah. And you're you, I'm me. That's all we can do.
That's right. Right. Absolutely.
Anything else you want to talk about? Anything else?
I want a factory. And I don't want just an average factory. Cool, I want a factory where I can, I want to teach children as young as 4 years old how to become entrepreneurs and how everyone's got a gift. Never let someone tell you what you can or can't do. Never be discouraged by someone else's, no, that's not good enough. That's not the case. I always mention Proverbs 18:16. Your gift will make room for you, bring you before great men. And I encourage people. Everyone's gift ain't gonna be cooking. We've got people that they box. People that we've got people that they may have a fitness gyms and just whatever, hairstylists, whatever you're good at, be the best at it.
Right.
And perfect your craft and be unique. And those people, you ain't got to work a 9 to 5. You can build your own 9 to 5. Yeah. So I try to encourage people to do that. And one of the reasons why I want a factory is because I want to show Texarkana everything the cookie lady. Well, a lot of stuff that the cookie lady can do is more than just cookies. Right. But no, I want to be able to teach entrepreneurship skills and let people know about their gifts. I've gone into schools and I've given, taught little mini courses on that. I've gone to the college and I've spoken to people and, donated my time in the community in a lot of different ways. Different schools, going here and there and stopping what I'm doing, baking daily, go do that and come back. And I pour out to the community quite a bit. And I love people. Yeah. So I like talking to them, letting them know, hey, don't be discouraged. This is what you need to do. I'm a positive influence, and I want to let you know that you're just as good as the next person. Even people with disabilities, they got gifts too. So that's what I love, encouraging people. That's me. I tell people, if you don't want me to talk, the babies come in the store, got a display case, got stickers and writings and colored pictures and all that stuff. Some people look at it as junk, but I look at it as love. When the babies are pouring back into me, I got them everywhere, all over the shop or whatnot. And most of the time when they come in, I try to have some sweet treats or drinks or something for them or whatnot. And they look forward to seeing me. I've got 4 grandbabies.
Wow. And
3 boys and a girl. And they're my son's children. I love them with everything in me. My girls, they don't have kids just yet. But I look at I call them my shop babies. When the kids come in there and see me and stuff. And it makes me really happy to see those babies come in and interact with me. Tell them, hey, I love hugs. You ain't leaving out here without giving me a hug. Sometimes, not all the time. Depends on what kind of mood they seem to be in or whatnot.
Yeah. I've got my daughter's about to be 2 next month.
Oh, wow. That's
fun. My
fun.
son is going to be 4 in December. So
okay.
I'm in the thick of it. But
yes.
There's it's like today they brought home my son drew some picture in class. He goes to the Liberty Isle, the pre-K over there on Robinson. And just some scribble. Hey, he's just so excited about it. Like, look. And that's so great.
Yes.
But I mean, I never really understood like looking at like a scribbled paper like that. And
I do.
When I was like, before I had kids, I'd be like, he just scribbled all over the paper. Mm-hmm. Like, why is that on the refrigerator? But it makes sense once that's your kid and they're like, look, and you're like, oh my.
And I don't just do it for my kids, but I dissect those pictures. Yeah. I'll get them. I'm like, that's a chocolate chip. But he looks like peanut butter's in it. And, they looking at me like, yeah. I'm like, that's some grass. And why wasn't that part of that grass mowed? Or look how bright that sun is shining. They're like, and I'm like, yeah, I see more than what you think I do.
Yeah. Kids are awesome. We kind of grow up and get worse.
Yes.
The kids, like, I'm just learning a ton from having kids. I'm loving it though.
They're a blessing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I definitely appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. We talked all kind of stuff, and I'm glad that I can tell that you love it, and that's what really matters.
Absolutely.
And as long as you love it, like it's gonna work. And I think that seems to be the formula.
Yeah.